What made you pick Trinity as a top team in the country?
Well, I think when we started looking at our top 50 teams across the country, Trinity was a school that's been there from really early on. They really were at the top of our listing like in the last 6 weeks that we charted, and they showed that they could beat teams not just from Kentucky but also Ohio, Tennessee, and Indiana. So not just any team, but those top teams in the state, especially when you start looking at Ohio, the GCL teams, and then you look at Cathedral of Indianapolis. These are teams that fight and play for state championships year in, year out, and they beat them one by one and did it in convincing fashion.
What did you think of their strength of schedule? I know you just kind of went into that a little bit. The GLC was down a little bit. Or
the GCL?
GCL was down a little bit.
Well, I mean, I live in Ohio. I live north of Cincinnati, and it really wasn't down. It was a pretty good year for the GCL. So it was, you had 4 teams there playing that division. It's out of Cincinnati when you have LaSalle, St. X, Elder, and Moeller, and those teams just beat each other up. So it's really, you can't look at what they do, but when they play each other, they really have some really good games. But when you see what Trinity did against those teams, and you had the Moeller game at the very end of the season was very impressive, because Moeller was the team that was kind of going to be hot team. A lot of people thought it had a chance to go to the Division I state championship.
Yeah. I have to ask this. I'm sure Bosco's number 2 in your rankings. How do you think they would match up against each other?
I think it'd be a game people would like to see.
Right.
And it's one of those things we talk about college football, high school football. When you have teams like that across the country, we know we're not going to see that game. But at the same time, it gives us something to talk about, who's got football. And I think what makes it really neat is a team from Kentucky. We're talking about Trinity out of Kentucky. And as I said when I presented the award, people don't think about football teams out of Kentucky. They think basketball. And I think Trinity's kind of changed that this year.